Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all those in between from across the world, welcome to the glorious PackCast. Lovely to see you guys. Thank you very much for joining us again. For all you people who are new, thank you for joining us for the first time. So, my name is Zubair, aka Big Z Bear. A lot of you guys might have seen me jumping into your streams as Big Z Bear 87 on your Twitches, on your Mixers, various other places, just spamming the chat because that's what I like to do. I like to bug our gamers, let them know that they are loved, talk about absolutely nonsense just to make sure that you guys are distracted so you're not playing your best. That's what I like to do, but don't worry about it. I know that you guys are putting in the top effort to make us look good. Thank you very much for being a part of the Wolves. If you're not a part of the Wolves, welcome anyway. So, you might know a little bit about me. I've joined the organization from the beginning. I've been put here as the host of this show to get ourselves out there, to get ourselves public, to get ourselves known, and to eventually make sure that we make a mark on the planet. A little bit difficult in the current circumstances right now, but the beautiful thing about being online is that people can still see us, people can still watch us, and people will hear about us eventually. And before I even continue to talk about anything else, I would like to introduce my first host, who is joining me from across the pond, from the Americas, from the North Americas, from the Great White North. I would like to welcome my good friend, my brother from another color, the Bearded Viking. Hello there, my good friend.
Hello, Zubair. How's it going today?
It goes well, my good friend. How are you?
Good. Just to say a little bit about myself, I am the IGL for the Overwatch team on PS4. I recently joined, probably a month ago now. Been here for a bit.
Good. I've just noticed Glenn has said that your beard has been blessed by Allah himself, which is very multicultural. Thank you, Glenn. Moving forward, particularly. Not racist at all, don't worry, he's just being funny. So, moving forward, firstly, what brought you to the Wolves?
One of my friends was part of it. He's a streamer on Facebook, and he told me that if I might be interested in joining the esport team for Overwatch, that I should message, and I did. So one thing led to another, and here I am, captain of the team.
Et voila. Captain of the team, not just of the team, but the Overwatch team, and not just any Overwatch team, the king of consoles, as I like to say, the PlayStation team. I salute you, my good sir, my good friend. Good to see you. I did say he was my brother from another color. I even forgot that you are on the PlayStation team, so that makes me even more happier. Moving a little bit further on as we move on to, I think we've dropped a few viewers just for that, but never mind. It's worth it. Moving forward on, outside of the gaming world, tell us a little bit about yourself, your personal life, etc.
Personal life. Well, as you said, I live in the Great White North in Canada, in British Columbia. I'm married. I have 3 children, so that keeps me quite busy.
Oh yeah, must be super busy now with the lockdown as well, keeping them entertained and everything, right?
Oh yeah.
I can only imagine. Yeah,
just awesome. Staying inside all the time, no school, nothing. That's fun.
Just dad and his beard to tug on and everything. Yeah, I empathize. I mean, that's the beautiful thing. I think only us 2 guys have the beard that everybody is envious of. I just like to point that out to everyone. Even though my beard was first, his beard is still arguably almost as glorious as mine, I should say. Yes. I mean, the only difference is he has a mustache, but anyway, I'll let you off with the mustache. Having said that, I did notice something behind you on the wall, which is very awesome. I pointed out earlier. It was a painting. Show us that painting because it's so kick-ass.
It is my Deadpool painting that one of my friends, his name is Matthew Geratha. He's a painter here. He does all sorts of... Oh, it's gone now.
He did also. So now he's never going to do it again.
No.
Never mind. It is a kick-ass painting, though. I'm sure it's not. It's okay, right? It's not like broken or anything. There.
Oh, no.
It's just like a regular. All right, okay. So I just thought it was framed or something. He just broke the damn frame. All right, never mind. Just put you on live camera across the wall and just smash your friend's painting. That's okay. Oh, yeah. Having said that, why Overwatch of all the games?
It's funny. I have a really odd relationship with Overwatch. When it first came out, I was like, "Oh, that looks like a dumb game." I wasn't interested. And one of my friends played it quite constantly, and eventually he just started bringing the game over. Like, "Hey, you need to try." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to try. Looks stupid." It took months. It took that guy to try me, for me to try it. And eventually I did. And I just couldn't explain it. I was like, oh yeah, no, this is dumb. Tried it once, and I was like hooked.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow. What?
played
Like
quite.
Class A drugs. You just took one taste and then finally you were just hooked in. Yeah, there we
Yeah,
go. Oh.
the first one's always free, right?
Yeah, the first was always free, and then you got to pay for more. Then you pay with your soul, and then
Yeah.
well, there you go. It's paid off a little bit because now you obviously being the captain of the Overwatch team is pretty cool.
Mhm.
Having said that, me myself, I couldn't handle games like that. I am so atrocious at first-person games. So props to you to play so well that we have appointed you as the leader of our game. So that's pretty cool of our team. Sorry. What I'd like to do now is we've got pretty much an introduction of you. Lovely to speak to you, as it were. Lovely for you to join the team. What I'd like to do is introduce our other guests that are going to be joining us today. First up is a gentleman who is the VP of our brands management. His name, I like to call him Josh E. Josh Edwards, are you there with us today?
Hello, Zuba. How are we doing?
We are doing fabulous, my darling. How are you, Bunny Boo?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you very much.
Good, good, good. I would just like to give props to the man who noticed my comb. Thank you very much in chat. Sorry, I just thought I'd be selfish about that. I got it with a beard straightener that I got, and I don't know where it is, but we'll talk about that another time. For now, we must concentrate on Josh Edwards. So, Josh Edwards, since it is your first time on the PackCast, please tell us a little bit about your gaming life first.
So I'm Josh Edwards. I mainly play League of Legends. I've started since season 3, and I played it a little bit competitively during the first days of when it was out and about. Other than that, the games that I first started on was obviously the PlayStation 1, playing games like Metal Gear Solid, Dynasty Warriors, etc., and going through the ranks, and then slowly came onto the PC, and obviously get into the black hole of World of Warcraft. Obviously,
he's a PC slave. Oh my god!
I still play PlayStation now and again, but it is
you play both sides. Oh, you traitor! Okay, never mind. Sorry, I couldn't resist interrupting you. Please go ahead. Sorry, I'll let you finish. Then I'll insult you.
I have played a little bit on the Xbox. I have been on all of them, but I'm mainly PC Master Race. Just for shout out there.
I'd say you're full of shit and clean yourself up, but I'm out of toilet paper. That's right. I got that ready for the current crisis that we're in.
I'm gone.
I'm using kitchen roll. Sorry, guys. No, sorry, I couldn't resist. Anyway, Josh Edwards, amazing. You're an ambassador for all the platforms out there, really, the major platforms. It is Xbox, PC, PlayStation. Aside from that, obviously, we talked about the games that you like to play now, but right now, can we think about what's the game that's top of your list right now? What's the game that you like to go when you want to play, chill out at this moment in time?
Chill out right now. It's going to be a bit of an odd one, but Warzone. It's new, it's fresh, and I just enjoyed the Call of Duty aspect of it, but without all the special abilities that was in COD 4. But Warzone's just a bit more of a drop down section to that, and it's fun. You can rage and shout yourself. You get second life, but then you just die instantly in that, and you just come back in, parachute, death drop all the way down, and just break your legs. So it's fun.
Well, cool. I broke my legs again. Yay! Okay, awesome. Fair enough. I mean, as you guys know, I don't usually do the online gaming very well because I am crap at it. So that's pretty cool as long as people out there can relate to it. I would like to hear in the comments anybody telling us about their chill out game that they like to go to. I'm not talking about the one that they talk to competitively or they want to go professionally. Just the game you like to go to get yourself outside of the world and just to chillax. Having said that, Josh Edwards, another thing to ask about you is that you are the title you have, the VP of the brands management, etc. What exactly is it that you do for the Wicked Wolves?
So the role that I do for the Wicked Wolves is basically try and get us out there as an organization. This goes from social media, so working with the team that we have, getting a plan together on how we want to go forward, of putting our organization out there with posts, videos, and everything else such as that moving forward. The other aspect of that as well is also getting sponsors to come into the organization so we can help grow as an organization with them. We can obviously promote them, they can promote us, and obviously we get kick-ass deals with them, and we get our own merch and branding, which obviously fairly amazing, and we can just put our mark on the world that way, with not just the amazing content, but we can have people going everyday lives with their stuff, and it's just nice to see our brand moving forward that way.
Awesome. So I'm going to hand it, because I've hogged the mic for quite a long time. My dear friend Bearded Viking, you got any questions you might like to ask, throw that way to Josh?
I just want to start. I heard that you were a League of Legends player for this week, and I actually downloaded it and gave it a try. It was quite interesting. What position do you play on?
I play top lane.
Top lane.
So I'm a top lane meta slave, really. I have tried all roles, but top lane is the one for myself.
What is the character that you prefer?
My main character that I've played over thousands of games on is probably Rumble in the top lane. I was playing him before he came into into the meta, really, and it was good. And it's just grown in popularity as he's just got better, really. So probably Rumble.
Oh, awesome! Cool. And so you're the IGL for the comp team as well as
I am also the IGL of the Wicked Wolves competitive team as well. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Cool. That's all the questions.
All right. That's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. So one thing just to highlight, just to give an idea for the people listening for Josh Edwards, what he actually does is basically, number one, he's trying to get our name out there. Number two, he's trying to get sponsors in here. Have I summed up pretty good?
Yes.
Fantabulous. Right. Josh Edwards, thank you very much for the work that you are doing for us, for helping us make a mark on the planet. After you, we do have another another guest. He's a ghost now, but he's coming back to join us because, he loves to speak to us. Death has not stopped him from gaming. He is the social media manager. I'd like to welcome Joe Butler. Are you there, my good friend Joe?
Wait, am I not a ghost?
No, you're not a ghost. You're a very shit ghost. I can see you right now. You're not pale enough. I know you're white, but you're not pale enough to be ghostly. I get to say that because, I'm not pigmentally challenged. Having said that, moving forward onwards. Oh, I wonder how many people are going to bother to listen to this fight. So, Joe Butler, how do you do? Lovely to speak to you. Honestly, I didn't mean to insult you by calling you a fake ghost. Don't worry about it. What I'd like to ask Joe, similar questions. Firstly, before we talk about yourself, I'd like to talk about your interest in gaming and what brought you to the Wolves. Go ahead, boy.
Well, I was a fairly new streamer when I came to the Wolves. One of my close friends joined before me, and then he told me about it. It's pretty similar to the Bearded Viking, really. He spoke about how highly of the company and how we run, and yeah, like Bearded Viking, I sent a message, and the rest is history. I went through the recruitment, and yeah, I'm here.
No, it's not Patrick Swayze who ever said that. You dumb, uncultured swine. Leave Patrick Swayze out of this. I'm sorry, Patrick Swayze is too cool for the whole goddamn gang. And he's even dead. He's cool even then. His body's pretty cool too, as I can imagine. Moving forward, Joe Butler. So we're talking about you've joined the Wolves, and it's great to see that you've joined the Wolves and you're doing some particular work for the Wolves as the social media manager. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so obviously all our content creators, even our competitive gamers, they all create content. Now, as my role, is like adapting that platform that we have with our social medias and to share their content. So our beautiful viewers out there can see everything, not just what we're doing live, but they can see what's going on a day-to-day basis. And, just my key is to entertain. That's why I'm an entertainer as such.
Okay. Just so we're not discriminating, all the beautiful and ugly people out there who are part of the team, we just like to include everybody. Having said that, I've said my bit. I'd like to pass the mic over to the Bearded Viking. Any questions you may have for Joe?
Yeah. Well, so you work with the social medias. That means probably Facebook, Instagram, that sort of those programs. What is I'm curious. What is your least favorite social media to use?
Twitter. I have to say Twitter. I think the reason I picked Twitter is because it's so popular and there's so much going on, and so it's just so hard to keep up with sometimes. But yeah, if I have to pick out of the four we use, it's definitely Twitter.
I would not have expected the reason to be it's the most popular one, but sorry, go ahead, Joe. It's only the one everybody goes to. Let's avoid that because it's really annoying. Don't worry, guys. We'll be logging on Twitter. Don't worry. It's just an opinion. Go ahead, Joe. Sorry. I mean, not Joe. Sorry. Bearded Viking. Go ahead.
What about games? What games do you like to play on your off time now?
Okay. I like RPGs, if I'm honest, role-playing games or, MMORPGs. I started off originally on Mare 2. So going back way, way many years when I was about no bigger than my knees, to be honest, higher than my knees. I played Legend of Mare, I played a mage on there, and I actually adapted until recently. I changed my name on all my gaming, but all my gaming was Ragnarok, and I was known on the Phoenix server as Ragnarok. I was like one of the highest levels on there at that time, and yeah, I absolutely dominated. And then, but yeah, I mean, from there, I've just carried on Star Wars role playing games, just had, something with a story and keep me entertained.
Yeah.
So did you change your name from Ragnarok because you have a Viking on the team?
No, I changed my name from Ragnarok because it was taken on most game servers. So I sort of lost that name. So I've had to, make it a unique name for myself and change it.
Awesome. Sorry, I just couldn't help but interject. Go ahead, Peter Viking. Any other further questions you may have for our top guy, Joe, here?
Excuse me. No, I don't think I do. No.
Awesome. So what I'd like to do is, because now we're a quarter way through, well, a portion of the way through, I'd like to give a grand shout out because we do actually have a great sponsor of ours. Our good friend Josh E, he's got himself a piece of merch that he'd like to show us to show our support for our sponsor, ID Gaming. As you can see the little band at the bottom there, you can get a 10% discount for getting yourself the products. Josh E, tell us about the product you have.
So this is the colossal mousepad that I have from IG Gaming. It's basically one of our 4 custom mouse mats that we have on there. They're very big, very high quality, and the surface is very smooth, so it's increasing performance from when I played with other mouse mats. I'd recommend getting one just because they're big, they're comfy, they're padded, and they're very well made. Obviously, there is other designs on there, and if you do want one, guys, go check them out at idgaming.co.uk and use our 10% discount code, which is WWGaming, all in caps, for 10%.
Fantabulous. Good hit. So I did ask this before, but I'm hoping you can expand a little bit on it, Joshi. What makes it so particularly special, this particular mouse mat?
So for me, this mouse mat, for the size of it, usually you get them and they're fairly thin. There's not very much comfort in them. So for me, when I first got it, I was expecting something similar, but I got it. I was very surprised from basically the off, really, how it came in its box to its packaging. You get a nice felt carry case with it, which is this here. And it's portable.
Everybody make that appropriate noise. Ooh. Right, go ahead, Josh. Sorry.
It's a very nice carry case. It's all very well thought through, but the quality of the mouse mat itself, the colours just pop. The cushions there, it's very hard wearing as well. I use it pretty much every day for a lot of gaming, maybe 12-hour sessions at a time, and there's no marks on it, there's no stains or discolouring, and I just think it's probably one of the best mouse mats that I've had personally, in my own opinion.
Right, awesome. So it's not gimmicky at all. It is genuinely pretty high quality, something that a gamer should definitely need.
Yes, it's generally very high quality. If it's the case of it's not one of our mouse mats, they can also do their own custom designs if they want to, and they can still use our code and get that 10% off. That's not a problem at all. But the quality and the printing that they do there is top notch.
That is awesome. That's great to hear. So that's really good. So before I continue, I do want to bring into a particular topic that happened to me this week that I want to discuss about. Before I do move forward, do any of you guys would like to say anything before we continue on to the next topic about your experience with Wicked Wolves, about our sponsors, about anything else that you'd like to raise before we step on to our next topic?
No, I mean, I'm all good. I'm happy to move on.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great. Yeah, I just don't want to be hogging a mic and then somebody wanted to say something that I wanted to talk and this ass hat will not let me talk. So, okay, I will give everyone the moment to talk. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to ask a question in regards to an experience of mine that happened recently. So everybody knows that I'm more of a campaign gamer, right? So I like your Horizons, The Last of Us, the Darksiders, these type of games, definitely RPGs as well. I just don't do very good at multi-platforms. So, but I do realize that when I do log on to streamers, obviously the majority of our team, they obviously play the online games and they also play the team games and they also play the competitive games, etc., etc. Obviously, that's what you would like to do. One thing I've come across is, my first question to you is, when you guys, all three of you guys probably are proper competitive gamers compared to me. Aside from there's obviously the gaming soundtrack that you have, we'll go around. I'll go straight to the Viking first. Let's say that you're in an intense moment when you're gaming. What type of music do you like to have playing in the background to hype you up? Or do you have music at all to help you hype up?
It depends on the situation. I used to listen to music all the time before I started streaming on Facebook. But with the Elgato, it's a little bit difficult to stream music as you have to turn off some certain stuff. But that being said, when I'm playing competitively without streaming, I probably listen to a lot of very trashy metal, heavy metal. There's Viking metal. I'm on a Mars.
No, Viking, really?
Yeah,
Get
I know, right?
out!
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought?
But my taste in music varies as well. Like sometimes I'll listen to heavy dubstep, right?
Oh, damn.
Stuff as well. So it depends on the game, depends on my mood.
No, that's fair enough. I guess the same with everybody, really.
Yeah,
I mean, at the beginning. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just destroying my table. Just for your entertainment, guys. Sorry. I mean, at the beginning, I was a really hardcore hip hop fan. Now, hip hop, oh my God, it's just so embarrassing. So I've moved away from that. And I've recently found a little taste for electro swing, which is kind of funny. I never thought I'd go that way. Move over to the other guys. I mean, Josh E, I call you Josh E because I get you confused with the other Joshes. That's why it's Josh E. Everybody else wondering why I'm calling him Josh E. It's a bit obvious too. What about you when it comes to your games? Do you have any sort of like hardcore music going around, some rock music? What's going on in your ears?
If I'm just playing casually, I'm probably playing some heavy metal rock music. It's always been a thing for me. It's just gets you in the mood and gets you hyped up. But if I'm playing competitively, I want my mind clear, the comms clear, and so I can listen to the finer details. So competitively, I don't listen to anything.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right, of course, because you got to hear the surroundings around you. You got to hear if people are playing, right? Of course, that's when you're in the moment, right? So, of course,
yeah.
Oh, that's fair enough.
But casual, it's definitely rock, heavy metal, and sometimes a little bit of dub, just to get me a bit more in the mood when I'm playing a fast-paced game.
I got a guy here who said a comment that he listens to UK grime, which is pretty cool. I never expect that people want to listen to UK grime while they're gaming. I find that a little bit more distracting for me. But then again, each to their own. I mean, what about you, Joe? What you got when it comes to listening to games in the background?
I'm going to side with Danny on this one because I actually listen to UK grime rap.
Get out.
I genuinely do. I mean, I don't game competitively as such now. I mean, I game to win, but I don't game competitively.
Isn't that the same thing? Competitively, you just want to win the damn game.
Yeah, but, I'm not.
I don't play competitively. No, I just want to kick everyone's ass.
Yeah, that's true. Well, yeah. But yeah, no, I listen to grime UK rap. That's my go-to. I've been in love with rap ever since I can remember, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's something about the way the lyrics are structured that switches me on and keeps me intrigued, but it keeps me going. So yeah.
Fair enough. Who's your favorite artist then? Oh, sorry, Viking. I've cut you off. What were you going to say?
Yeah, I was actually just going to ask the same question.
Oh,
okay, there we go. Great mind, great beards, and great minds. Go ahead, Joe.
So, if no one has heard of him, go and check him out. It's Dave. Dave is a UK grime artist. He's fairly new on the scene, but my God, he's my go-to guy. Isn't
he the one who did I don't want to hear no words, I don't want to talk? Is that the guy?
Yeah. Yes, that's the one.
That's the guy. Yeah. He's actually pretty high. He's all right. Yeah, I like it.
Dave, is that the guy that made a song with AJ Tracy as well?
Yes.
AJ Tracy
or something like that.
Yeah, it was what was he at? The Brit Awards a couple of weeks ago. He did that live show about Black Lives Matter, I believe it was. And it was he absolutely, that live performance, really sold it for me as an artist. That it's not just this package of he can produce music, he can actually go out there and perform as well. So
he's not gimmicky, right? He's actually the real deal.
He's the full package,
Right. It's not like a one-hit wonder or anything. Awesome. Going round. I mean, I asked the question to the other guys as well. What about you, Joshi?
For me, I don't really have a favorite band. It's more songs. Favorite.
Well done. You can talk.
I got it in the end.
Tomorrow we'll do maths. Go ahead. Sorry, Josh.
I don't mind a large variety. I don't have a specific one that I listen to. It's just mainly the songs and sort of what tempo and beat more than sort of the lyrics, etc. So I'm fairly open to stuff like Rammstein, Sabaton, Green Day, All Time Low, that type of stuff. And
all awesome bands.
I'll go from them all.
Have you ever heard a band called Necrogoblicon?
No.
That's a made-up word.
Oh, no.
Oh, I made up.
You
There
should-
we go, Joe. Well done. Sorry, Mike. Go ahead. We just had to refer to the Avengers there. Go ahead, Joe.
Yeah, Necrogoblicon. If you like really heavy music, you should listen to those guys. They're really good. They actually play with 12-string electric guitars, like 12-string, really heavy sound. They have xylophone in their music, which sounds weird, but it works.
Jeez. No,
Yeah.
that's got to be some skill to make a xylophone, the most out-of-place instrument in heavy or hard rock.
Yeah.
And manage to make that work. That's got to take some skill.
The first song I ever heard by them was "Nothing But Crickets," and you should listen to that one before any of the other ones.
Okay.
It starts with a xylophone kind of solo thing, and then it just cuts off and goes heavy. It's so good.
You've got Zubair intrigued. I think he's going to be pulling.
I'm
it
literally on my YouTube right now looking for it because I want to check it later. Nothing but crickets, you say, yeah?
Nothing But Crickets, Necrogoblicon.
I don't know how the fudge to spell that. I might bug you afterwards. Necrogoblicon. Okay, I'll say. Oh, I found it. There's a K instead of a C. I was
Yeah.
halfway there. I am so awesome. I nearly got the spelling 100%. Sorry.
Nice.
Well, if no one's going to toot my own horn, I might as well. So, I mean, is that your top go-to guy then? It's your turn, obviously, if I can answer that. You spent some Necrogoblicon. Is there any other type of guys that you'd like to listen to? Anyone mainstream that we could relate to, or is it more niche?
I do like Tech Nine.
Yes! Tech Nine! Yes! He's so cool.
Tech Nine. Yeah. Tech.
He's the most, whilst you think that, I'm sorry, God, he's the most eccentric rapper. I love that. The first time I heard him was actually in a game. It was a crummy game on PS2. It was called 25 to Life. And it was a very, very simple game. It was just this African-American dude who's broke out of prison, killing on some gangsters. But it was a platform kind of like Def Jam do. Like Def Jam New York. I think that was the best one. Def Jam 2, Fight for New York. Arguably one of the best games out there from back on PlayStation 2. And it was just a platform for kick-ass soundtracks. That's where I found Tech 9. And it was my wife, and my girl.
Yeah.
Anybody out there remember, you can fulfill what the B word stands for. But it was a hilarious track. And after that, I just had to grab his album. I got his album on my playlist. It's hilarious. But go on. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead, Beatty.
Yeah, no, that's all right. Yeah, Tech Nine. I do like Joyner Lucas these days. Logic. In the hip hop scene, but yeah, that's it. We should, let's maybe get back to talking about games or marketing or anything like that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's what we're going to do right now as well. So, I mean, that's the beautiful thing about music and gaming and music in the industry is, we're just talking about outside gaming, but when we talk about inside gaming, the way they've had to design music specifically to focus you in the moment. I mean, I remember reading some sort of study saying that when you are studying, one of the things you could do is play some sort of gaming music in the background because it's designed specifically to help you focus at the task at hand. Is what you need to do in gaming. You know what I mean, guys? So that's the importance of music in gaming, right?
Yeah. No, you can definitely tell with before boss fights or during puzzles, especially. The music changes just slightly. It makes you more focused on the task at hand. So I could see how that would be a really good thing to have if you're studying.
Yeah,
Go on, Joe.
So, I mean, when I studied at university, I don't think there was a night I spent in the library where I didn't have some form of music on. And for me, I sort of linked lyrics to information. So if I was,
cool.
marketing, if it was more specifically about driving viewers and, driving following, there was a specific topic that I really didn't struggle with, but I struggled to compute and take on board. So I was reading the information, knew what it meant, but I couldn't put it into practice in my mind. So I related it to a certain song, and in the actual exam, I ended up hitting like 84% on the exam. But that was because I literally adapted that sense of music, keeping that link stuff together, and it just builds bridges in the brain. And the more bridges you've got, the more intelligent you eventually will be. From my experience, anyway.
That's fair. I don't listen to any music. That. Well, you can. There we go. No one got there. Okay, never mind. Well, I thought it was funny, so sorry, you guys. Moving. I mean, you guys might have noticed every time I drop into the stream, my first thing is to do, I kick the SR song request, right? And the song request and the song that I go to is, anybody know?
Barbie Girl.
That's the second song. That's the second. This one is the one I go to just to annoy everybody. Later, bitches. No one? You haven't heard this one? You guys haven't heard that in your stream? Then I haven't been in your stream, and I do apologize. Let me know, and I will drop by, and you will hear that song. You know the big Z-Bear has joined your stream. I'm so lonely. Please be my friends.
On Facebook, we don't have the song request on there, so
Yeah, sometimes you don't, so I just have to type it in so that you know. Okay, this is the song. Big Z's in the house. Oh, jeez. Anyway, so moving on. What I'd like to talk about now is, I mean, I lifted up the music, and a lot of people are kind of typing in there. Somebody mentioned Five Finger Death Punch as well, and a couple of other artists as well. They're pretty killer. I mean, my guy was Tupac. I think Tupac was my guy, and then now the guy I've got the most tracks on is Eminem. Obviously, he's my go-to guy now. The funny thing was that I was thinking about it. The reason I brought up the music aspect of games is I'm actually going to bring it over to something else. Is that gaming in general, right? I found that, for example, my go-to RPG was Final Fantasy. We spoke about this last week, and everybody knows that the remake is coming out next month, Final Fantasy 7. And I'm a bit ticked off because I paid £5 down payment to the shop game in order so I can get the freaking pre-order because they talked me into it. And now the damn store's shut, so I got to wait a little bit longer until freaking Final Fantasy 7 comes into my hands, which is a pain in my left butt cheek, but I will survive. Just like I've survived without toilet paper for a week. Having said that, moving on, what I'd like to talk about is the remake. That's a hell of a segue, isn't it? Welcome to Big Z's non sequiturs. Yeah. Moving on to the topic I really wanted to move it to was the remake industry. So sorry. I'm not really, but here we go. Hashtag not sorry. The remake industry is what I'd like to talk about as well. So as avid gamers as well, now you're a social media guy over here, and you're also in the VP of branding, which means getting the name out there. I'd like your opinion on this. I have my own opinion, but I want to hear your guys first as well. The idea of the remakes in industry now. So we got Resident Evil 2 is remade. They're doing Resident Evil 3. Final Fantasy 7's come out, things like that. They're bound to do more. What are your opinions, be they positive or negative, about these remakes?
Positive, all the way. I mean, who doesn't want to play a classic game? And if it's remastered to, you know, the standards graphics are at nowadays, then yeah, who isn't going to want to play a classic game? And just relating back to the marketing side of things, it's already marketed. It did all its marketing years ago, so now bringing it back out, all they have to do is say, look, we're bringing this out this date, be there and buy it, and people will. So yeah, it's a win-win for the company. Us as gamers, because we get to play the classics, and company because, you know, they get to earn twice the money on it.
It's like newer games out now are just a remake of all the classics that have been done with just enhanced graphics. So why not just bring the old games back, which are not so good graphic wise, and just resell them, rebrand them? And as Joe was saying, they've marketed themselves over the years, and people are still playing them because even if it's not on newer consoles, they're playing them on emulators. And the emulators aren't great, but if we can bring them out on the new consoles, the graphics are there, people are going to rebuy them, and they're going to be able to play them in the full glory again.
What about you, Viking?
It's just nostalgia at its best, right? You got the graphics of today with the games that we loved as children or teenagers or whenever it came out. I remember the Final Fantasy 7 you were talking about. It was one of my favorite RPGs of all time, and I'm so excited for the remake.
Yeah, no. Also, somebody just dropped there. It's comment saying that we should have Simpsons Hit and Run. I am indifferent to that opinion. I mean, it was cool. I guess it was pretty cool, but it was limited in terms of gameplay standards nowadays. You know what I think? It's awesome, but it's Simpsons. Really, the Simpsons sold it more than the game. My only problem is, I don't know how you guys feel about this. Is first things first. Final Fantasy 7's coming back. The one thing I'm hoping, again, I'm bringing it back, is that they don't change the soundtrack. Because for me, out of all of the Final Fantasies, Final Fantasy 7 had the most kick-ass soundtrack, especially the boss music. Have you guys ever played Final Fantasy 7? You know the boss music?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome. I mean, I've got it here right now. I just got to play it for our guys as well. You remember that? Doesn't that just take you right back? I can remember being me 11 years old and not playing that, and I'm thinking, that's it. I sit forward in my chair, controller up here, like, come on, you son of a, I'm going to take you on. And it's turn-based, so it's not exactly like you're doing anything. Just makes you feel awesome. That's it, right? Now, my own, I don't know, I'm going to throw this out to you guys, because obviously mine is different from all of you three. Whilst I love the nostalgia aspect, yeah, it's taken me back a few years. It's taken me back to a time when I enjoyed gaming. And it's not just the fact that, as the word nostalgia entails, it's taking you back to those memories, that time, more than the game itself. My only issue is the creativity aspect of storytelling, the creativity aspect of making new games, as it were, might be at jeopardy for that. And why I say that is because similar thing happened in Hollywood. What's happening in Hollywood? We'll get to a point where almost every 5 years now we're remaking a movie. Like Hellboy, for example, right? Hellboy 1 and Hellboy 2 was pretty cool with the Golden Army. And then they made it all over again with the first Hellboy. And it's like, why? I mean, my opinion with that was that but a standalone movie might have been all right, but we wanted the Hellboy 3, I think, if anybody ever watched the Hellboys. But yeah, bringing it back to gaming, that's the only worry I have, that game producers, game marketers, they're going to get to a point where they're just going to say, oh, remember Sonic the Hedgehog? Let's make that in PlayStation 5. Just like, you know what I mean? I mean, what do you guys think about that?
I think I agree for the most part that it's worrisome. But as for the Hellboy thing that you were talking about, I don't know if you guys have ever read the Hellboy comics. They're quite graphic. They are not PG as the first and second films have shown. And I think they had a plan on going more on the R-rated version of the movie to get closer to the comic, right? Which, if that's the case, then I agree with it. You know, like they did for Deadpool, for instance. You know, Deadpool's a very smart mouth merc that just kills for fun most of the times. And, you know, shoving grenades where the sun doesn't shine, and literally. Yeah. So you know, I'm all for remaking some older games if they're going to make them, you know, better. You know, closer to what they wanted to do originally, but couldn't at the time because, you know, back in the 90s or, you know, 80s, even the 2000s, you know, people were very, how do I say this nicely?
Don't.
They were a little, you know, they were even sensitive back then, you know. They didn't like R-rated movies.
Snowflakes. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
And look, we lost another 10 viewers. Sorry. No.
Yeah, there were snowflakes, right? And now there's still snowflakes, but people don't give a shit about them anymore.
Yeah, we just do whatever we do. What about you guys? Joe, Josh, what do you guys feel about what my opinion, as it were?
I agree. It seems like the design and sort of unique ability about games that once were sort of no longer, because they've covered that many games and they need to start thinking outside the box again. Everything is just a reskin or change ever so slightly. Obviously, for me, what the game that sort of broke the market in its own little way, and now there's remakes of it, was Guitar Hero when it first came out. Fresh out fresh out the box, something completely different. Nobody thought about it, and then they did spin-offs like DJ Hero and everything, and it was like, yeah, all right, this is good. Then after a while, it's like, okay, same thing. It's getting a bit boring now, and I think that's becoming the same thing with most mainstream games. It's just a reskin of what they have, and they're not sort of progressing as they used to do and be inventive, really. So I agree with you on that.
Joe?
Yeah, no, I think what we need to remember is that, you know, going back so many years ago, that the technology wasn't as advanced as we are now. So things they maybe wanted to do in games back then, leading on from what Beardy Viking was saying, you know, they couldn't. So now they're having to do that now, and, you know, and they're being able to go above and beyond with the game. So they've got the narrative. You know, all they have to do is adapt it, make things look, you know, sharper, a lot more crisper, and yeah, and maybe they can do things differently with the game that they couldn't do so many years ago. I think that's a positive side of it. But yeah, again, it markets themselves. They really do. So,
right, yeah, awesome. I mean, that's my only worry, because Once you've played this, one thing I loved about the games was because of the type of games I play was the story. So what was important to me was discovering something new happening. When I already know what's going to happen, I'm not as motivated to find out what's the next thing, you know? So, but a lot of people now are not like that. They're more about the gameplay more than even the story. So, I guess it's half and half, really. Just wanted to check on something good. Viking, do we have any other points that we need to raise? Any other things that we need to ask about that yet, or anything else right now?
Yeah, I just want to let the chat know if you guys have any questions for the panel at all, just write it in, and we'll do our best to answer. Right?
Awesome. Right. So yeah, bringing it back to that now. So we're talking about the video games in general. Yes, we're talking about nostalgia market and things like that, and talk about things that need to happen new. Otherwise, because of the current crisis that we're in right now, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but a lot of the sports industries have actually turned to the esports industries because of the issues that we're facing today, right? Because we don't have our live sports. Some live sports are having difficulties going on. So what they're doing is they're getting a virtual world, if you like, created, and they're hosting sporting events in there. Do you guys know anything about that?
Yes, I've been watching the Formula One virtual racing that they've been doing with actual F1 races, and it's weird to see them outside of their natural environment because they're amazing Formula One drivers in person, but put them in that virtual reality, they get absolutely stomped by those guys who play that game constantly. So it's weird to see them adapting from reality to virtual and just seeing the big difference in what's happening and how they're coping with that. But overall, it's fairly fun to see.
I mean, I haven't seen how they play. How is it? Is it the VR headset and the actual rig, or is it just on a controller? What is it?
Some people play with the rigs, but some people play with the controllers, but those who are like top end play with like 3 screens, so they've got like 240 to 180 degree view, and they're sat like in they create like their own chassis with a steering wheel and the pedals, and they use it like that, so it's like first person view for them. So
is that what they did for? Sorry to interrupt you. Is that what they did for this particular virtual racing that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, that must have been quite expensive to do that.
Yeah.
But then people logged on, people watched it, right? People enjoyed the racing, if I'm correct, right?
There was plenty of people on there that was enjoyed it, and it was fairly good to watch. It was very enjoyable.
Awesome.
Yeah, this is the time for esports to shine. There's no other sports, right?
Right.
Yeah. This is the time.
Because I'm a UFC fan myself, and the biggest fight, if anybody out there knows about the UFC, is the one that's upcoming. We're talking Khabib and Ferguson, not Fergie, sorry, not the song artist. Otherwise, she would have her ass handed to her 7 times away. Or Khabib would lose on purpose. We don't know. He's a gentleman. Having said that, we're talking about this particular fight, Ferguson and Khabib. This is the 5th time they've scheduled this fight. Each time before, first Khabib got injured, then Ferguson got injured, then Khabib got injured, then Ferguson, quite literally in that order. Then Corona, so the fight's not going ahead. So Dana White is like, we are making this fight happen, right? So they're sticking up occasion. They're only putting like 10 people in the room, apparently. That's what they said. We're not sure how they're going to do it, where they're going to do it, etc. So that's a pretty much of a bummer because without that environment, it can be a little bit distracting. Sometimes the crowd has an effect on the fight. Mm-hmm. Having said that, there's a particular sport I want to raise, the boxing industry. I think 3 to 4 days ago, if I read correctly, there was actually an esports match between Lennox Lewis and Joe Frazier. Jesus. I don't know if you guys heard about it. And Joe Frazier won in the virtual world. And then Lennox Lewis jumps on the Twitter and says, hey, congratulations to the guy. You knocked me down and I couldn't get up. Well, you didn't have a say in the matter, Lennox. You know, you were just sitting there and watch the damn thing happening. Right? But I think if I'm correct, 500,000 people logged on just to watch that happen. How cool is that, right?
That's crazy amount of views, isn't it? Just for a virtual fight of two, legends of the sport in their own right. But they're not fighting. But esports, not like Bearded Viking said, this is the only sport we've got at the minute. So let's utilize it while we've got it, because soon we're all going to go back to normality, and all this esports is going to slow.
Normality, yeah.
Inverted commas.
See, I think some people have found esports because there's no sports, and I don't think some people are going to stay. You never know. Maybe thousands or even millions will stay. You never know, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. No, the people who were just calling us losers, we stay inside and play games all day, and now they're joining us and just like, can you shift up, please? I'd like to join in. Do you have an extra controller? Here you go. And we're like pointing like, ha ha ha. You see why we love video gaming? Jerks calling us the losers.
Hey, I'm just gonna call on our boss man, our alpha wolf. He has a question for. Here is Josh.
So, guys, we've got someone down here saying, do we have the best platform to play on? So which console, if it's PC, Xbox, PS4, and what would you say is the best console and why? I think we covered
I think they know what answer I have. That's why they're asking that question. I tell you what, for peace of mind and for peace in the room, I will shut my mouth and I'll let you guys go at it.
So mine's easy. If I'm picking a console, I like to stick with Microsoft. It's what I know. It's what works, and in my opinion, the Xbox S and the X, to put it politely, pisses all over the PlayStation 4. Sorry, I've got something in my throat.
Oh, what a result! I've got something under my fingernail as well. Would you look at that?
But yeah, no.
Still there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Everyone else, before I say something.
For me, it's obviously going to be the PC, just because of the years I've played on it, but just the amount that you can change on a game with emulators, etc., that you don't have on consoles. I just feel like you can bring that something extra, whether it's a reskin or an extra customizable DLC that you can add in there that you can't have on the consoles. I just think the PC just sort of tips it for me, and obviously the graphics are obviously up there with or surpass those that have that on the console.
I agree to a certain degree. Yeah, you can do a lot more with PC, mods and stuff. But I think the next gen consoles are gonna bridge that gap really well. And I'm always, PS4. You gotta get PlayStation, man.
Yeah, I think we can all agree. Somebody in the background is calling Dad. I don't know which dad, but never mind. Having said that, I think we can all agree. Yes, as an Xbox guy, I would just like to say 2 PlayStations trump an Xbox and a PC. No, nah. But to be diplomatic and to be neutral about the matter, I think we can all agree. Yes, number one, PC, certainly you can do a lot. Even I have to admit, even I got a PlayStation 4. I love it, but the fact, the smoothest that you can get with the 60 frames per second, you just cannot be. It is glorious. It is orgasmic. I'm allowed to say that? Doesn't matter. I've said that now. But I think one thing we can all agree, that there is no such thing as a serious mobile gamer. Oh, yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did.
On that note, moving on to the next question.
Yeah, let's move on quickly.
What do you feel like the future platform is for game streaming? Is it Twitch, Mixer, Facebook, YouTube? What do you guys think is going to be paving the way moving forward?
Oh, it's Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely Facebook. It's still in its young stage, and they are constantly working to make it better. But everybody uses Facebook, right? Everybody, what do you do when you're bored? You
log on to Facebook, right? Yeah.
Sitting on the toilet, on Facebook. You're constantly on Facebook, and the system for it, when you're streaming on Facebook, when you share it. It's easy, right? You stay on the same app. Click on the link. You're on the same app, that you've been using, right? So even if you're not constantly, I don't hang out on Twitch. I don't hang out on Mixer. I don't. It's just for the whole marketing thing. It was really smart for them to start the streaming service for sure.
For me, even though I do stream on Twitch, and I do like Twitch, from seeing some people that have gone onto Facebook, the reach that they're getting on Facebook, even if it's not someone viewing, it's someone just scrolling past them on their first stream, on their reach to over like 11K. And you wouldn't get anything like that on Twitch because you're at the bottom of the pile. You've got to work your way up on that. If you're liking certain games on Facebook, like for example Apex Legends, Call of Duty, League of Legends, Rainbow Six, and you're liking that, and you're streaming that, them games will appear in that feed. So for me, Facebook, as you've been saying, has that reach, and you're able to grab a lot more people's attention, even if it's just a case of they pop by for a couple of seconds. You're getting that view and you're getting that engagement.
Yeah, and then take that into account too for the 3 or to 5 seconds view. That's all in your insights. It's really crazy what they take into account. So just somebody stopping by, like, hey, here's a like, here's a follow, here's a share, catch you later, right? That all matters for them, and I think it's a really good business plan on their part for sure.
Yeah, no,
I mean, we got our social media king downstairs right now, right below me. So, Mr. Social Media, you probably know better than us when it comes to what platform works best. I mean, both the guys there said Facebook. What do you feel about it?
Yeah, I completely agree. Facebook, in terms of your reach and your audience, you're not guaranteed just to get a certain audience. Like on Twitch or Mixer, you put in your title, and that's the only related audiences from that title. Facebook, you can have Daft's live stream on there, and that can reach and ping so many different groups that are out there. And before you know it, you've maybe got a wide variety of audience rather than the standard that just want to watch the Fortnite game, for example. But yeah, no, definitely Facebook. It's the reach, like Josh said, is just unbelievable. There's that many people that use it now. There's a reason they used to rig elections and stuff using Facebook. So
Yeah. Whoops, politics. Yeah, best do. They already don't like us as it is with me on the stream. Having said that, I think it's time right now. I would like to bring attention to before we go to the next question, I'd like to bring up our main sponsor again. If you don't mind, Joshi, could you bring out the mat again just to show who we are talking about? And just give them a shout out again, please.
So again, guys, this is ID Gaming. Do customizable mouse pads, and the quality is top notch. As you can see here, we've got one of the Colossus pads, which is their larger pad, and they do a precision pad, which is smaller. Very good quality, and if you would like one, you get your 10% discount, guys, by using the discount code WWGaming. So GAMIN, all in capital letters, and that'll give you 10% off on checkout.
Awesome. Yeah, WW Gaming, spelled by a really bad spelling 10-year-old. Just miss out the last G, and they're all in caps. Having said that, I believe we have another question.
We do. We have a question from our Alpha. And
hail the Alpha! Sorry.
And the question is, what is the biggest change in the Wolves in the last 4 months? Would you say it has changed, and would you say it has changed the dynamic of the team? So, Zuba, we'll probably start with yourself, because obviously you've been here from day one, pretty much. Let's get your opinion on that.
Day 27 to be more accurate, but yeah, okay, that's fair enough. In terms, for me, the thing about the Wolves is because it was a brand new venture that we all had to learn about how it had to grow organically. There were some things we had to learn. Our alpha is very structured, so the way he had to design it to make it fix in a certain way, so we could get the most profitability, if you like, the most productivity, if you like, from all of us. So it's always been changing. It's always been mutating. I am going to be a little bit self-oriented. I am going to say that this cast is probably one of the biggest changes that we are using, simply because this is the time, this is the platform we will use where we can build more bridges between all of our members. Because a lot of us, we don't see each other, we don't interact with each other. It's even worse now because of the lock behind the doors. Quarantine, that's the word, sorry. Because of the quarantine, I play video games. I should know the word quarantine. Because of the quarantine, it's hard for us to interact with each other. The beautiful thing about the cast is it normalizes us. We're humans. Hi there. I might not be fully human, but I'm human enough to be here. So they let me in. So the idea is, with this cast, we're going to get ourselves outreached out there to people who are even non-gamers, who might log on, who will see that, hey, gaming community isn't so bad. They're not so lame. They a majority of them have a life. So that's my opinion. I mean, I know it's very self-oriented, but for me, that's the biggest change. It's only been the second weekend. And put aside the fact that it's fun to do, it's a great way to shout out our sponsors. It's a great way to get to know each of you individuals, Mr. Viking, Mr. Social Media, and Mr. Brands Guy. Yeah, Brands Guy will do. I know you got a proper title, but Brands Guy sounds fun. So I believe this step is going to really help reach out to the world even further than what we possibly could have imagined as well. Also, just the gaming structure overall that we made, that major split between the UK and the US teams, if you like the European area, that kind of helped us for our productivity and functionality as a team, so that we could work together in terms of viewerships and connectivity, etc. So that's my opinion. Next up, whoever wants to step up to the mic.
Either Bearded Viking or Joe, obviously you guys are fairly new. Obviously, do you want to sort of give your opinion what you've seen change over the months that you've been here?
Yeah, so I mean, from my experience, I think I've only been here about 3-4 weeks now, max. But the biggest change from my point of view is like the PackCast. Not only that, but the restructure that happened not long ago as well. It just made everything a little bit more clear of where people were, having to, who you were answering to, or where you would go for certain bits of information or help. And I think again, that helped built on the dynamic of the team. It's brought us a little bit more close. Brought us a little bit closer together. Yeah, and it's just building, and you can see, even just of recent days, the team's growing together and the bonding, and there's friendships being built there where they're not necessarily face-to-face friendships like we're having, face-to-face conversation now, but they're still building that bridge and that bond with each other in this family that we're in. So yeah.
Viking?
I got, when I came in into the team, a lot of people came in, right? And it's been cool to see everybody getting to know each other. The PackCast, I think, is just amazing. Like I said, it's a chance for everybody to sort of get to know each other from a face-to-face standpoint, where right now it's quite difficult to do. But I've only been here for a few weeks too, so I didn't see much change. So I'll just pass it over to somebody that's been here longer.
So for me, I've been here maybe not as long as Zuba, but I've been here for around 5-6 months, and seeing how a group of individuals have gone through its ups and downs as an organization to sort of blossoming and growing where we are now. Everyone sort of giving it their all and progressing. The dynamic of the team's growing. We're all gaining confidence. We're all growing together, and it's just nice to see we're that family unit pretty much just growing and helping and supporting each other as much as we can. Obviously, we've all got our own personal lives, but the wolves seem to be on the up, and we're constantly growing slowly, steadily, and it's nice to see that the hard work that we are all putting in is paying off, really. So for me, it's a very, very positive outline for the wolves, even though we may have had some bumps on the road, but everyone does that, and without them, we're not going to grow like we have done. So it's all positive.
Awesome, that's great. We have another question?
We do. With having some North American members, do you think you'll get more North American sponsors because the shipping kills us? So I guess that's probably more for myself, and we are looking out and about for those sponsors in North America, but more specifically not trying to focus on a specific region of where they ship. We're looking at more how we can get someone that will do international shipping for a relatively nice price for everybody. But we can look at getting more sponsors in America, whether it be North or South America or Canada. We can start reaching out there and just seeing what we can get and see what we can bring in, or if it's a case of talking with our current sponsors and seeing if we can sort of maybe get them to do the shipping costs maybe a bit cheaper for us guys. We can see and try and find out for you. But if anyone has any ideas of sponsors, obviously with us being in the UK right now, myself included, if anyone does have any sort of ideas for sponsors that you may feel like we could bring on, just drop me a message and I'll thoroughly investigate that, and we'll see what we can do for you guys.
Yeah, you guys got to realize. Sorry, go ahead, Viking. I'll speak after. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I kind of agree with that. That since I live in North America, some of these UK products they cost quite a bit to ship. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I mean, the thing you've just raised there, Joshy, that's one thing I'd like to raise up for our wolves is that yes, the key word is family. Sometimes it's very hard for the little kiddies to speak up, to speak to the elders of the family, because they might snap, but it's not that type of family. We do need you guys to speak up when you want to have an opinion that you want to express, because we'll let you know if it's a good idea. We'll let you know why it's not a good idea at the current time. It might be something you want to plan in the future. But basically, just because we are the quote unquote higher ups, as it were, Doesn't mean we know everything. You might have a point of view that might be worth listening to, that could actually open our eyes to some sort of new idea that might be able to help us expand into a new area. So definitely, just never mind just the sponsors that Mr. Wrongway, Mr. Brand has just spoken us about. The idea is that whatever help you feel you can give, that we can make the pack grow, not just in numbers, but in influence. Because funny about it's all about the influence. That's how sponsors jump on our tail. When they know that we actually make a mark and people watch us, that's when, for example, right now, like ID Gaming, we're giving them a heads up because they've given us such big support as well. We support them, they support us. Very simple. If you guys know people who are wanting to do that, that's awesome. What's your name? Joe, do you have anything to add?
I mean, I'm sort of not dabbling with sponsors at this moment. I do have people approach me through the social medias for sponsors, but I sort of leave that to my main man over there, Josh. No, we'll work on that. That way.
You're out over there, Josh. Right, okay.
Down there.
But yeah, no, I mean, Josh. That's Josh's expertise. So I'll just deal with keeping them intrigued and bringing them onto our social medias, because ultimately that's going to be the first place they look before they send them.
Absolutely.
So then it makes Josh's job a lot easier.
Of course, because you're both of your jobs is kind of like fucking me. I got the freaking fingers wrong. There we go. Both of your jobs are kind of very integrated with each other, right? So of course, awesome. Right. Shall we move on to the next question?
Yeah, moving on to the next question. It's from Keita_Killer. How do you guys feel about cross-platform games? Yay or nay? And if nay, you upset me.
Nay. Next question. I like you want us to say nay. Of course we're going to say nay.
Good. You're just asking for the nay.
You're just asking for trouble. Oh, please don't shoot me. It will hurt.
What are you going to do? Stab me?
Don't insult me. Yeah, remember that news piece. When did that happen? Did that happen stateside or England? I can't remember. One of the two. We were just as messed up as each other. I think it was UK side it happened. This guy, what are you going to do? Stab me? And he stabbed him. No. What are you going to do? Say nay? Of course we're going to say nay.
Yeah.
Off your sod. But all right, let's try and answer it seriously. Anybody have an opinion on that?
Yes. As much as I am super excited about cross-platform, I feel that PC has an unfair advantage with the mouse and keyboard, and I know a lot of console players will agree. But like playing Warzone, most of the times I'm getting killed by PC players because they just have that snap that we don't have with the joystick.
Yeah, no, exactly. No, because of they move faster with the mouse, whether you like it or not.
Yeah,
right. All right. What about you guys?
I'm for it. I like crossplayer. You're not just playing with the same bunch of people on the same platform.
You were going to say something else, weren't you? Something a little bit more impolite.
I sort of remembered.
What's that about Xbox? Huh? Say that again.
No, but I like it. I like the fact that you can play with people on different consoles. It sort of takes away that rivalry, but done at the same time. So you're not having to all get the same consoles to play with on the same games with your friends. And that's my aspect of it anyway. I just like.
So it just opens you to a whole new world.
Yeah.
All right, Aladdin, sing the song. What about you, Joshy? Don't do it, Viking. Don't.
For me,
keep your masculinity. Don't do it.
For me, I'm the exact same. I to be honest, like the cross-platform, because I'm able to play with friends who necessarily don't have maybe enough money to build a PC that's able to play the games.
Is that us, the console peasants? Is that who you're talking about?
Not so much peasants, but yes. They're a lot, in a way, they're cheaper, for example, for people who don't have the £800 or so to spend on a PC, and the cross-platforming just makes it easy, and you can just play with friends that you've never been able to do on the games that you didn't think. So for me, it's bringing the communities together and just bringing people together no matter what platform, and I think more people should do it, but obviously give you the option to yay or nay to cross-platform when you're playing the games like you can do.
All right, of course, that's so awesome. I'd just like to inform our American friends across the pond, £800. Pounds is the British currency. You have dollars, we have pounds. It's not the weight. It's not your fat auntie Carla who's 800 pounds over there next door neighbor who can't get out of the house after 7 years because of her size. Pounds is the British currency. I just thought I'd bring that up. Shall we move on to the next question?
Yeah.
I'm just looking if we have any.
Someone's reporting the fee for abuse somewhere.
Yeah,
You know that, right?
Let's hear from us peasants, right?
Yeah.
Do we have any more questions from you guys in chat right now?
Crazy.
Is there anybody else who'd like to be offended by us? All right, awesome. It looks like that's done and dusted with. So, I just want to highlight the fact that John Smith has a hard-on for Viking's singing voice. So be careful, Viking. You never know. You might swing the other way. There it is. I don't know if you guys can see it. You don't want to get muted for copywritten material. Oh, well, we might get muted for a plethora of other reasons. What your guys... Marvel. Okay, sorry, go ahead, Joshi. Why am I reading it? It's your job.
Well, we've got a question here from Noxy EU. Do we like Marvel or DC? And
I was going to say I couldn't read that. Go ahead.
Ruin his life.
Okay, ruin his life.
Marvel.
Anybody?
Marvel. Absolutely Marvel. Nothing else. DC. If you look at maybe comic wise, I'm maybe more of a DC fan in the comics. But in terms of what Marvel have done in the MCU, the DC might as well just take a back seat and just watch.
Take a bow.
Yeah. Just take a back seat and watch Marvel relish.
The only decent DC for me would have been Aquaman. That is the only decent DC. Other than that, it's Marvel all the way.
Yeah.
Damn, son. Viking? He's got a Deadpool painting on the back wall. I wonder.
Yeah, it depends, right? If we're talking movies, Marvel all the way. DC movies, they were all right.
There aren't any DC movies. Move on.
Yeah, we'll just forget those. Comic books, though. There are certain superheroes that I like on Marvel. Deadpool being one of them.
Chief.
Yeah, obviously. But they're, I don't know. Marvel?
You're just waiting to see if somebody attacks you for saying Marvel or DC. It's like Marvel, and then somebody freaking Homer Simpson breaks in and says, "What about my comics?" No, not Homer Simpson. Sorry, Hellboy. Oh God, how do I get a Simpson and Hellboy mixed up? My dumbass. My absolute dumbass. Oh jeez.
Just imagine Homer with the giant hand.
I'm gonna shoot you. Oh jeez. I'd like to apologize to all Simpsons fans. That's a genuine apology. Me, you know what it is, right? Because we grew up at a time before MCU. So when you looked at your Cartoon Networks and whatever was being on the cartoon channels when you were growing up, who was the cartoon crusader that you were watching? It was Batman, right? It was Batman #1. So that was it. Maybe you had X-Men. Maybe you had... That was it, really. You had X-Men, and that was it. But mainly, chief amongst them was the Batman. Batman ruled then. And then, obviously, Batman got the movies done. You had your original... Oh, what was his name? Michael Keaton, I think it is, who became the first Dark Batman that spawned the series of Dark Batman, right? So from then, with Joker, Jack Nicholson... Right, it's Michael Keaton, isn't it? I think, yeah. If anybody can correct me, make sure I got the right name for the actor who played that lead. And then after that, of course, you had your Val Kilmer, and then you had Christian Bale, etc. So they've got Batman down to a T. Then MCU kicked off. Who kicked off MCU? Blade. Guys, think back. Before, every time they tried to do a Marvel movie, they destroyed it, they murdered it, they slaughtered it. They wouldn't even eat the remains. So then finally, they made Blade. And Wesley Snipes, he killed Blade. He unfortunately destroyed Blade 3, Blade Trinity. Let's imagine that wasn't made. But Blade 1 and Blade 2 gave the Marvel Universe its hope because people were watching it. Blade 2 is arguably one of my most famous movies. Right? The cheesiness of Wesley Snipes being as hard-ass as he was made it. Right? And then because of that, people thought, right, that's it. We'll make the Spider-Mans. And then after the Spider-Mans, Iron Man. And off we go, the world we have today. Right?
Spider-Man.
Incredible.
And then Spider-Man.
And then Spider-Man. And then another Spider-Man. And then we're going to lose him again. We're going to another Spider-Man. But then, having said that, but it works, right? People go to watch Spider-Man. But having said that, what I think DC you were doing wrong were they were copying Marvel. They weren't sticking to their roots of staying dark. They weren't sticking to their roots of being, gnarly, if you like. Because look, when they did Joker, right, the first movie to hit $1 billion without even logging into the Chinese market. All the other movies that hit the billions logged into the Chinese market somehow or another, right? So Joker, as dark as it was, made it. So with your Justice League, the movie that came out, obvious we didn't have the journey with the individual heroes, so we couldn't attach ourselves emotionally to their journey, right? So it didn't matter anything. However, yes, MCU in terms of the video cinematic world, they rule. DC for me rule the comics as well as the cartoons that they make, the feature-length cartoons. Only last week I watched Red Sun. I don't know if guys can do. If you guys are ever really bored, if you go into Google Play, I rented it from there, the Red Sun, and a whole new story about Superman who crashes into the Soviet Union, and there's an alternate world universe there. And I am never failed to be amazed by whatever DC do when it comes to the comics, the feature lengths. And the one I actually have saved, I actually bought, was Batman and Harley Quinn, because that was hilarious. If you guys haven't seen it, you guys have got to watch it. It's so funny. It's so ridiculously funny. And the way they take the mick out of Batman and Robin and their relation, not even Robin, sorry, Nightwing. It's awesome. So I don't know if we've ruined his world or not, but yeah, it was a healthy discussion, Marvel or DC. Do we have any other questions?
There is another question. The question is, do you think VR will get anywhere near to realistic?
Oh, geez, Louise, I was going to bring it over to VR as well, and I forgot. Thank you very much, Bunny Boo, for bringing up the VR. I'll step back, let you guys talk first, because I've already talked 4 legs of a donkey.
Anyone?
Don't all talk at the same time, goddamn.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I've recently been on one of the new VR systems. I say recently, last month, my uncle's got one, and sometimes you can forget that you're in a game. That's the quality that they're at now. You can be wandering. You're with a controller. You're not physically moving, but you're walking through this forest, and you're thinking, "Jesus, I'm actually." I have to remember I'm in a video game here, and the 360 pan of the view. It's just, yeah. I think they will, and as technology grows, it can only get better. As anything, it will only ever get better, and eventually they will be able to be 2020 vision virtual reality gaming, which is ideal. That's what
things can only get better. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, I just thought of that song when you said that. Things can only get better. Really, hit the song. Hit the music. Sorry, I had to interrupt. Sorry, Joe, you finish up.
I mean, I think ideally, as you see in all the movies where they're putting this suit on and, the whole track movement, how weird would that be to be on a single platform, almost running machine, where you can move 360 and play the game physically rather than just with a headset on and controller. For me, that'd be the more realistic, because you'd be able to literally do whatever you wanted in that game then.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
they do have the machines that you can strap yourself in, and it has like the
whole rig, right?
The bowl or whatever it is, so you actually move with your character. There's a VR arcade type thing where I live, and they have that big machine, right? So you have the gun, the VR. You can actually you walk, and your character walks. You crouch, it crouches. So most of your movements are already quite realistic now. And I heard not too long ago, I'm not sure how true it is, but that they're actually inventing a bodysuit right now for you to be able to feel certain things that you feel in game.
I read that too.
I think it's like with an electric shock or something like that. If you get shot, it's like a little,
you actually get shot.
Yeah.
The video game producers come on your house and hide while you got the VR gear on. Oh, we got shot in the head. Goodbye. Bang.
Yeah, you're just strapped there, and there's just like 1,000 guns around you. So wherever you get shot, it's
you actually get shot.
It's the one last greatest game.
The greatest game you'll ever play.
But that's something that I remember talking about as a kid, right? It's like, it's too bad like you can't feel what's going on in the game, right? Even if it's like just the wind or whatever. And now it's starting. I think in the next maybe 10 years, 10 years from now, this is my official prediction.
Mhm.
If the world is not done and dead,
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. If we
Yeah.
survive, listen to the
if we
Vikings.
survive, the virtual reality, I feel that some people will actually live in the virtual reality, right?
You know what? Yeah, oh yeah, I bet they will. People are
Yeah.
nuts like that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
What about you, Joshi?
For me, I'll be honest. I've not tried VR myself, so I'll be honest.
Shame.
I know that it's there. I know what you can do with it, but I've not tried it, so I can't really have an opinion on it. But I'm hoping that when it does come on fully, it'll be a bit more immersive. It's something that we'll be able to even do like virtual jobs on there, and potentially earn cash if needs be. If this corona goes on for as long as ever, we'll start working in virtual reality and earning our cash that way. But it's going to be good, not just for gaming though. If virtual reality becomes more realistic, it's going to help people, for example, doctors and surgeons to do their training, dentists, tattoo artists, car mechanics. It's going to bring on not just the gaming side, but it's going to bring on real life aspects fully, and it's going to be amazing, I think, for the world when it comes to that stage. I know it's teasing in there a little bit now, but when it comes in there fully, it's going to be spot on. It's going to help us all improve.
Bringing that up right now because my mother, she did a computer ethics degree or something for Devonport University. We're talking 20 plus years ago, and they were already then talking about how they have a theory of using an online avatar version of yourself so that you can conduct your meetings, so that you can go to locations for business opportunities, etc., etc. So we're talking 20, 25 years ago. They were already talking about that. The idea of scanning yourself and create a digital exact replica of yourself online to do exactly what you would do otherwise. Whilst you're somewhere, your digital version actually goes on and does the job for you, which is freaky. I give that 2 or 3 decades. You never know, because already right now, if you look at the when people lose their limbs and they get the robotic arms, I forgot what it's called. Thank you, prosthetics. Right? They're already talking about prosthetics where you just place the arm on, and it's so intuitive. I don't know if it's a device that they attach to their head or something. I've only seen it where they put it on, and then they just think about moving the hand moves. I'm sure many people have seen that already. Yeah. And we're not talking about when it is an electronic arm prosthetic, full stop. So that is already there. They already gave a girl that somewhere in the States for when the Phantom Pain was released in Metal Gear 5, right? The last one, the Phantom Pain, because he had a robotic arm. Same thing. Once on the launch, they gave a robotic arm to this little girl as well, and she was hyped about it. So why I mention that is because now we're talking about the online, the virtual reality world. I give it a decade where it's an indismissible part of gaming. It is absolutely, because already VR, you get your VR gear for PlayStation. That was taken off 3-4 years ago. In Pakistan, of all places, because I was there for a spell, right? I think a lot of people know. I lived in Pakistan. The first VR location on the continent, almost, quite literally, save Russia, right? They open up their own little base there with the VR. It's exactly like that little room. You put on the gear and you forget you're in an actual freaking VR, and you genuinely fall over and you get. My wife had it on and she started screaming so bad my kids started crying. It was hilarious. Yes, because I like to hear my wife scream in pain. Having said that, that's what I do. I give it 10 years before it becomes a reality where we cannot ignore it. We cannot dismiss it. It will be a part of our lives for good. And we're already going that way, so it's not really a hard jump. Already, we've got to a point where we just cannot increase the polygon count on our video games so that the human eye can tell a difference. What's that going to be for VR, right? Mm-hmm. I just want to bring it back to our tag down here. I can't see Joe's in the way. Joe, you're going to have to point down so you can point to our... No, hi. I can't point to your screen, you imbecile. All right, down here. There we go. That's good. The other way. Everybody point to your left or right, whichever, and you see our awesome... gaming company. Viking, would you like to talk about them a little bit?
Yeah, they make custom mouse pads, and the quality looks fantastic. If you use our code WWGaming without a D at the end, all capitals, you get a 10% discount. And just looking at these things, like I don't have one of my own, but I as I'm looking at the one down here that Josh is holding, that just looks wonderful. It looks like he uses it, but it's not broken. It's not tattered. It looks good.
Fantabulous. And we'd like to apologize for Joe for hiding behind the banner, but don't worry, Joe, it's for a good cause. On top of that, we just don't want to see your face anymore. We love you, Joe, beautiful or not. All right, so we got like 11 minutes left. So firstly, for the last 20 seconds, I'd like to apologize for Joe. We accept all of our members, regardless of beautiful aspects or not. Whatever scale, whether you're a 1 or a 10, you're part of the wolf pack, or a -4, depending on how bad it is. Having said that, I don't know why my wife puts up with me. She's -3. And we go on to... Oh, would you look at that? I got a text message. She wants a divorce. And she's taking half of my PlayStation. What I'd like to check is...
Just a PlayStation.
No, I just got the PlayStation 2. I wonder why my comedy career didn't take off. So what I'd like to do is, because we've only got like 10 minutes left, 9.5 to be a bit more specific, we'll go back to the questions. There's nothing else to raise. We've obviously been head up to a big wrong way again. We did a big point out to ID Gaming a minute ago. Does anybody else have any other questions? Does the Alpha have anything else to say? Anybody we like to see in the stream have anything that they'd like to point out? Josh? Oh my God, the Alpha! All hail the Alpha! All hail the Alpha! Josh, show some respect. There we go. Good boy. Alpha, how does he do?
I'm all right. How is everyone?
We're good.
Yeah, we're not too bad.
I'm not too bad.
I've got an itch between my toes, but other than that, yeah, awesome.
What we on with now? I just thought I'd pop by and see how everybody is.
Oh yes, we're behaving ourselves. We promise.
That's good. That's good. What's the question? Well, I just heard my name, so I just thought I'd join and surprise you guys more than anything.
All right, so that's how we know. So instead of going into the bathroom and crying out Bloody Mary 3 times, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever know, just cry out Alpha's name and then he will pop up in your game. Alpha. Ah!
Yeah.
Why do you guys put up with me? I don't know. Sorry. Go ahead, Alpha. Tell us, how has your week been?
Oh, it's been all right, actually. Yeah, it's not been too bad. Been working more than anything. So, been working on a few deals. Been working on a few changes that's going to be implemented, especially within the Wolves. A nice little announcement that all our content creators are going to be getting a custom Wicked Wolves overlay, which is currently in development. So that's going to be released within the next couple of days. So all our content creators will have access to that. So when you go onto their stream, you'll see that it's going to be, you'll see the nice Wicked Wolves brand there, and you'll literally go, yeah, I know that team, and that's what we want. End of the day, we want to become a household name, and that's why we've done that. We also have some amazing things being released within the next couple of weeks, and the PackCast is going to have exclusive to that. I don't want to give too much information as of yet, but the PackCast is going to have exclusive rights to all announcements from this day forward.
Fantabulous. As long as you can say the word exclusive, that'll be awesome. So looking forward to our next announcement. I couldn't let you. You're there, Alpha. I have to take the piss a little bit. So having said that now, it's been a pretty cool cast so far today. Has there been any little points that you'd like to raise in terms of our sponsors or anything like that, or in terms of any other future plans, or you want to keep the future plans kind of vague and like it be a surprise?
At this moment in time, I'd rather keep the future plans a little bit vague. I will give a bit of a hint that everybody in Wolves has been asking this for the last 3-4 months, and it's literally a tight niche of people that know what it is, and it's going to change the dynamic of Wolves for the foreseeable future. Yeah, big time. It's a big aspect for us especially, but also the people that support us, our members, because it's just going to get our name out there and people will be able to see what we're all about.
Yeah, it's just an additional step, isn't it? So every time we do big announcements, the idea is it's another step on the ladder to making our, like you said, to the ultimate target to be a household name by the coming future, right? Yeah, absolutely. Awesome. So any of you guys have anything to say? Or you like to ask the Alpha for the sake of the Wolves, for the sake of the pack?
I would like to take this moment to thank our Alpha and management for all the hard work they do for us.
I appreciate it, man. It's been a tough couple of days. I'm not going to sit here and say it's been easy, but it's been it's been a learning curve more than anything, especially for me and the management team. But it's everything's going nice and swimmingly well, and I just can't wait to make the announcements, which in the next few weeks.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Viking, for kissing our alpha's butt. Next up, Joshy. It's worth kissing, don't worry. Go ahead, Joshy.
For me, I just want to say thank you to obviously our sponsors for the amazing support and what they're doing for us. But I'd also like to thank all our competitive and content guys for getting the sponsors' name out there as well as ourselves, and just keep repping the Wolves and our sponsors, and just keep doing your job and what you're doing. And we can't ask for anything more than just keep smashing it.
Big time.
Stay awesome, dudes. Stay awesome. Joe?
I just want everyone to go and follow the social media groups, please. Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Give us a like, a share, make my job a little bit easier. Keep the boss man happy. But yeah, please, just help share our name, you know.
Just to jump in there, I want to give a big shout out to Joe actually, because our Instagram, I'm not social media illiterate. I'll be honest with you. Twitter, don't use it. I think it's trash. I'll be honest with you.
We had that conversation a while ago. I don't know if you know, Alpha.
Yeah, I'm aware. Instagram, I've got my own Instagram, but I couldn't find the time to do it myself because we're doing at that time I was doing a lot myself. And obviously Joe has been the perfect person filling in. And in just short of a week, we have got an extra 600 followers on Instagram. So massive round of applause to Joe, because obviously your hard work there has made us grow from 200 to 800. So yeah, big shout out there, bro.
Wow.
It's not all me, Joe. It's the team around me as well. So maybe a shout out to the marketing team and management as well, because you guys do all the things.
How adorable. He's being modest. In the back of his mind is saying, it's all me, you horrible people. Sorry, go ahead, Alpha.
That was a very political answer.
Diplomacy. Did they teach diplomacy in the social marketing degree?
Well.
Oh, jeez.
Well, no, I just thought I'd pop in and help.
Help us finish off.
1,000 points alpha drop armor. Look at that comment. Somebody watches my stream a little bit too much.
What?
Let me get it up. 1,000 points alpha.
Drop. Bog eye. Very specific.
Standard bog eye.
Standard bog eye.
Standard. But no, I just thought I'd come in and help everybody wrap up. It's been an amazing podcast more than anything. I've enjoyed watching it myself. So well done to you guys more than anything. So I'll go around and you can promote your own social medias. You can do whatever you want. Joe, start with you, mate.
Not mine. Just like I said earlier, get onto Wicked Wolves Gaming. Give us a like on Facebook, Instagram, our YouTube channel, and Twitter, even though I don't like it that much. But yeah, no, get on there, give us a like, and help us promote. Well, help me promote us.
Yep, brilliant. Josh?
For me, just again, same as Joe. Please go like our Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Like and go follow our sponsors, Rizzo Energy and ID Gaming. And if you'd like to follow myself and catch me playing some League of Legends, please come and follow me on Twitch with the name of Humber4. I'll be on there probably this evening.
Brilliant. Bearded Viking?
You can find me right here on Facebook at Bearded Viking with the little face.
Brilliant. Zubat.
Hello, darlings. I'm known as Big Z Bear on Twitter and the Big Z Bear on Facebook and Instagram. I'm sure I'll be very hard to miss. I'll see you there.
Guys, everybody in the PackCast panel, amazing work. More like that. Well, we'll see you next week, especially Zubair will be here. Brandon Turner is going to be his co-host, and we are going to get some regular pack members, so content creators coming in and having a chat. But yeah, just make sure you're following the socials, Wicked Wolves Gaming. And yeah, thank you very much for attending. And that is the end of PackCast. See you later, guys.
Au revoir, my good friends.
Goodbye.